Welcome to a talk based upon the YouTube video Quantar101, the Universe and the Psyche. Quantar is spelled Q-U-A-N-T-A-R, and this talk is based upon the big questions surrounding our universe. Questions such as, what is the structure of our psyches and the nature of the human quest for meaning and awakening? What is the nature of matter and consciousness? Why are there octet structures in matter and biology? What is the nature of the expanses of dark matter and dark energy? What is the nature of the mysterious transcendental number pi? Why is there a Fibonacci structure to our solar system? What is the theory of everything? Further, in this talk we are going to propose that all these questions have been answered for at least 5,000 years by the mystics of China, India, Egypt, and Greece, through their mystical concepts such as India's Om creation model, the tattvas of Kashmir Shaivism, China's Tao, Bagua, I Ching model, and Egypt's pi number concept, which includes the image of the flower of life. We can also note that 5,000 years is 200 human generations, 196 generations beyond our great-grandparents. So if the people of that time could understand the primal universal concepts, then why can't we? This series of talks also includes a simple $10,000 universe challenge between the ancient mystics and the greatest minds of Western science. So hopefully together we will either discover a simple and coherent way of looking at our universe, or someone will make a quick $10,000. So let's begin with the first of the four great riddles of cosmic appearance. The first riddle of cosmic appearance states, the Earth appears to be flat, the Sun to orbit the Earth to be the center of the universe. At first glance, these three planetary statements are so obvious that only a Shakespearean idiot would even doubt them. What is there to have a conversation about? It's only when we start to ask them more questions that we discover that we have some problems. So what holds the Earth up? How does the Sun get underneath the Earth? Why is the shadow of the Earth upon the Moon a curve? And why are the Sun and Moon round and nothing appears to be holding them up? Etc., etc. So the first thing to note about a cosmic riddle of appearance is that we should doubt the appearance to our physical senses, which appear within our waking dimension of consciousness. For otherwise we will eventually end up feeling like a cosmic patsy. In Europe, in the year 1600 AD, the Italian Dominican monk Giordano Bruno was burnt at the stake for proposing that every star was a sun, with its own planetary system, and that the Earth was not the center of the universe. Bruno was sacrificed because he had challenged the orthodox thinking of his time, and he had threatened to reduce the cosmic rooster of the human ego into a pile of discarded feathers in a forgotten corner of the cosmos. Sorry about that, Giordano. I hope you didn't take it personally. Yet in the 2nd century BC, the ancient Greek Eratosthenes, a chief librarian in the fabled Library of Alexandria, had not only deduced that the Earth was round, but he had also measured the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy, using a differential of light shadows in two water wells, 800 kilometers apart. In the 2nd century BC, the Greek Hipparchus knew of the Earth's precession, the wobble of the Earth upon its axis, and its 26,000-year cycle. So 2,000 years before we burnt Giordano alive, we knew the Earth was round and had measured its circumference. So this suggests that we can awaken to the cosmic nature and then fall promptly back to sleep for thousands of years. An astonishing concept. So let's move to the second great riddle of cosmic appearance. Matter appears to create consciousness. This riddle is asking us, if the background fields of the universe are space-time gravity and primal matter, then how does a bucket of cosmic mud create and sustain a complex universe of consciousness? How did it create us? This is a fiendishly difficult riddle of appearance, for to our physical senses it seems obvious that matter creates consciousness. For every day we see life arising from the earth and the oceans, yet the appearance of life also seems nonsensical, How can the physical matter of our planet create the complex forms of life and consciousness? Western science accepts the appearance of consciousness arising from matter as logical. No problem. While the people who have a religious nature believe that this is only an appearance, and that there must be levels to our universe which we cannot perceive, levels of spirit. So let's spend some time exploring the nature of this riddle of appearance. We can put the riddle into another form. In the Middle Ages, a group of scientists watched frogs crawling from the mud and believed mud was spontaneously turning into frogs, that matter was spontaneously creating consciousness. However, our modern science teaches us this process takes billions of years, with atoms joining to form molecules, proteins, cells, and complex organisms through vast evolutionary periods. This modern perspective, however, does not change the basic medieval premise that mud creates frogs, that matter creates consciousness, and it still leaves us with a peculiar appearance of thinking mud. This riddle of the mud and the frog also confronts us with a primal question. Are the background fields of our universe matter or consciousness? So the first thing we can note here is that the last 500 years of scientific thought has only changed the timescale and not the fundamental premise that mud creates frogs, that matter creates consciousness. So, with Western science, the creation of frogs from mud instantly is insane, but over 4 billion years this concept is perfectly reasonable and rational, plausible or not. We can imagine a timescale with insane at one end and plausible at the other, and then wonder where the magic crossover happens and it all becomes perfectly logical. Is it 1 billion years? 2 billion years? This is why the scientists lay out the fossil record upon a timeline, looking for the threads of continuity. However, I have an image in my mind of a child magician with a glass of swamp water in front of him and a magic baton inscribed with the law of natural selection, who waits until the audience's attention is distracted and then switches the glass of swamp water for a white rabbit and then acts as if the appearance of the white rabbit was perfectly natural. Scientists seem to use a mind trick of time distortion by saying the process of turning rocks into white rabbits takes billions of years, a timescale the human mind finds almost unfathomable. It is the same time device that religious people use when they say, "You will understand when you get to heaven." Both use such vast concepts of time that the inquiring mind tends to collapse and agree with an irrational concept. Here is a quote from the physicist Paul Davies from his book, The Big Questions, as he attempts to solve the riddles of matter and consciousness by discussing whether an intelligent designer for the universe is required. Well, you are absolutely right that this argument was demolished by Darwin's theory of evolution, because there is a very good mechanism, namely variation and natural selection, that can produce the appearance of design even when there is no design. So if you ask me about features, such as the human eye, which seems so well adapted to its purpose, I wouldn't have said that, as a specific entity, the eye is an example of design. We can understand how, if you have an ensemble of competing organisms and competing species, then that competition can lead to the emergence of very clever-looking organs. I accept that Darwinian picture. So scientists, some I assume with wheelbarrows full of Nobel Prizes, try to convince us that the problem of matter and consciousness is solved through Darwinian evolution, that there is no God but mud, and the law of natural selection is his only son. Plausible or not? In Australia we have rocks that are 4 billion years old. Maybe they are slow learners. So there must be dumb rocks and smart rocks. Some rocks turn into white rabbits, others stay as rocks, which is just as well, for otherwise the rabbits wouldn't have anything to stand upon. Some scientists have said that the universe, rather than looking like a great machine, looks more like a great thought. And since we are talking about white rabbits, perhaps we could also suggest that our universe can appear to be a stream of smoke blown through the hookah pipe from a character in Alice in Wonderland. We can imagine now a Wonderland conversation between a scientist and a kid who are surrounded by hookah pipe smoke while they ponder the nature of white rabbits. Kid: where did the white rabbit come from? Scientist: well, the cooling Earth started to create biological life billions of years ago, and through natural selection, evolution, and random chance, the white rabbit finally appeared. Kid: so the white rabbit has come out of the rock made the rabbit. Scientist: well, yes, but remember, it doesn't happen instantly, it takes billions of years. Kid looks doubtful. So rocks, time, and random chance make white rabbits. Scientist: yes, we see this process of natural selection around us every day, changing all living things. Kid: so if rocks make a rabbit, then a highly evolved biological substance, like rabbit poop, would make a rabbit even faster. Scientist thoughtfully: yes, given enough time. Kid: so rabbit poop creates the rabbit. You don't think that you have the universe upside down? Scientist: no, we are absolutely sure of our understanding of the biological processes. Kid looks even more doubtful. Alright, so where did the planetary rock come from? Scientist: the planetary rock is made from atomic elements moving in quantum fields of light. In fact, scientists have discovered that in a high-energy plasma field, a single quantar, through looping interactions with charged particles, can create 1 trillion electrons with the weight of 1 billion hydrogen atoms. In this way, all matter appears to be simply the creation products of light quantar. In these subparticle quantum realms, electrons can appear as a cloud woven from an infinite number of possible electrons, which then act together as if they share a single mind. It is a realm where photons can act at a distance and appear in 2 or more states at any one time, where the universe is in communication with itself even over vast cosmic distances, as if time and space no longer exist. It is a realm where our universe appears to be simply confined waves upon an ocean of unfathomable depths, and in a new branch of physics called quantum information theory, the basis for our universe is no longer matter and energy, but information, which tells an atom how to form and a DNA helix to spiral. Kid: the hookah pipe smoke is getting thick around here. So the basis for our universe is information. Scientist: correct. Kid: so what or who inscribes the quantum light with templates of information, and from where are they being projected? Scientist: it is just a natural process. Kid: like rocks making white rabbits. Scientist: yes. Kid: what is the next step beyond quantum information fields? Is it realms of consciousness? Scientist: no, that would be getting dangerously close to the religious people, and we have spent the last centuries since Darwin trying to nail these religious crackpots into a box. No, consciousness is simply a hallucination created by complex chemistry. Consciousness is one of the last appearances within the universe. Kid: we are back to rocks creating white rabbits again. Scientist: correct. Kid: I read that science has lost more than 95% of the universe into the background fields of dark matter energy. So science has lost the elephant of the universe. Scientist: yeah, well, true, we do have a small problem there, but give us some time and we will solve it. Kid: rocks and white rabbits, are you trying to treat me like a village idiot? Scientist: listen, are you trying to annoy me? So if we are talking about matter and consciousness, then what is consciousness? We can imagine the self, or the ego state, holding aloft the lamp of mind as it explores the physical universe, and then, in a strange act of cosmic hypnosis, the self comes to believe that the physical universe is real, and that the lamp of mind in the witnessing self is simply complex chemistry, created as a hallucination by the matter of the physical universe. The self has then fallen into a state of ignorance, and the entombment within the prison of matter. It has come to believe that it is the physical body, and that it has been born, and that it will die, that it has personal destiny, etc., etc. Is this a possibility? For the mystics talk of these states of forgetfulness. Many would say that when it comes to the universe, there are only 2 creation possibilities. Firstly, the hard reality of science, including the white rabbits from rocks through natural selection theory, and secondly, the endless historical imaginings of religion, the old man in a heavenly armchair throwing lightning bolts theory. Surely it is a slam dunk situation as to who presents the cosmic truths. And how can there be intelligent design when there is suffering and disease, when the biological record is full of extinctions and dead ends, as if life has only been the ramblings of a madman, a tale told by an idiot? Perhaps we can pause here to summarize the terrain that we have crossed. The universe does seem to be a strange creation, a quantum stream of hookah pipe smoke. For how does cosmic swamp water create the 64 codons of DNA and then sustain the complex webs of a conscious universe? How does swamp water create consciousness? It seems that the nature of DNA must have been coded into the universe from the beginning. But how did the book of life survive the fire of the Big Bang, which arose out of a point of no thingness, and then created time-space as it expanded? Unless, of course, we live within a multiverse, and our universe is just a soap bubble appearing and disappearing upon an infinite ocean of universes. And there is another problem. How does the cosmic explosion of the Big Bang create a coherent universe, a biological cathedral? For all human explosions create only chaos, a scene of carnage. Science struggles to acknowledge these problems, and it will try every intellectual endeavour it can to leave consciousness out of the primal ingredients for creating the universe. For consciousness is the ghost in the machine which turns all the scientists' matter theories to a state of absurdity, and makes their view of the universe appear to be something primitive, lifeless, and childish. The scientists refuse to accept the concept of a conscious universe, for then they move dangerously close to the acceptance of an intelligent creator. But after thousands of years of human history, after the contemplations of billions of human minds, are these two relatively primitive creation models all that we have created? Are we left only with the struggles between the muddism of science and the fantastic leaps into the realms of belief which the religious groups propose? Perhaps it is time now to present the two primal creation models of matter and consciousness within a simple and powerful format, so that we can at last perceive the universal truths. Perhaps then we will also discover the third and fourth of the four great riddles of cosmic appearance. If we remember, the second riddle of cosmic appearance was that matter appears to create consciousness, or, if the background fields of our universe are space-time gravity and primal matter, then how does a cosmic bucket of mud create and sustain a complex universe of consciousness? How did it create us? The greatest minds for the past 5,000 years have attempted this riddle in a myriad of forms, and together they have created the two great creation models for our universe, the two mother lodes for philosophy, science, religion, and mysticism. In our modern era, we can call these two creation models the four-block model of matter, proposed by Western science, and the genie's bottle model of consciousness, proposed by the mystics. We can also suggest that our true education does not begin until we are faced with these two creation models, so that we can reveal the underlying truth for our universe. In the four-block matter creation model, the basis for our universe can be described using only four simple building blocks. The first block is the space-time gravitational vault, and the second block is primal matter. We can shrink these two blocks down to a tiny point of no thingness, and then explode them as the Big Bang. The third block is the underlying laws such as the tendency to complexity and natural selection. The fourth block is the appearance of consciousness, which arises as a hallucination created by complex chemistry. In this matter creation model, the background fields of the universe are space-time gravity and primal matter, including their associated realms of dark matter and dark energy. These dark realms appear like the term terra nullius, or unknown lands, marked upon our ancient maps, as they are not made from the protons and neutrons of our physical universe. It is proposed that these dark expanses will comprise more than 95% of the total universe. We can note that space-time gravity is used as a generic term to describe all the underlying components of the universe which can be described as neither consciousness nor awareness. The genie's bottle consciousness model, however, proposes that within an eternal dimension of pure awareness there arises a vault or genie's bottle of consciousness, which is woven from the three dimensions of deep sleep, dream, and waking, with the reflected light of the ego sense appearing within to create a koan or cosmic riddle. How can the reflected light of the ego find the sun which lights all, yet cannot be seen? In this creation model, the three dimensions of consciousness appear as octaves of one another, with each octave containing 7 internal steps, so that deep sleep dimension is 7 times as powerful as dream, and dream is 7 times as powerful as waking. Waking dimension in the physical universe will then comprise only 100 over 49, or 2.0808163265% of the universe, with the remainder becoming the 97.95918367335% of the universe known to science as dark matter and dark energy. This model has echoed throughout history, taking such forms as animism, Plato's cave model, India's Om model, Tibet's luminosity model, China's Taoist model, Joseph Campbell's heroes model, and a myriad of the world's mysticisms and religious faiths. In response to these two creation models, www.Quantar101 proposes a $10,000 universe challenge. To collect the prize, just be the first person to describe a plausible creation theory, which is not simply a variation of one of the two creation models presented here, or through simple logic, prove to the creator of the Quantar.co website that the matter creation model fits the facts for our universe better than the consciousness model. Submissions can be sent to info@quantar.co. To assist us in solving the $10,000 universe challenge, we can now explore the two creation models of matter and consciousness in greater detail. Firstly, we can note that the $10,000 universe challenge suggests some cosmic questions. Is our universe simply a creation of complex chemistry, so that matter and space-time gravity form the basic structure for our universe? If dark matter and consciousness are both non-baryonic, then are they one and the same thing? Is the universe a structure of consciousness? If the universe is a quantum image with information as its basis, then where is the cosmic image projected from, and who writes the scrolls of information? Beyond quantum information, will we discover fields of consciousness? Further, we can suggest that the genie's bottle creation model proposes that our human experience within the universe will involve 4 great riddles of cosmic appearance. The first of these riddles of appearance suggests that the Earth is flat, the Sun orbits the Earth, and the Earth is the center of the universe. The second riddle of appearance suggests that matter creates consciousness. The third riddle of appearance suggests that the ego is separate from the surrounding universe. The fourth riddle of appearance suggests that the eternal is simply the 3 dimensions of consciousness, those of deep sleep, dream, and waking. We can also note that the genie's bottle model of creation has proposed that there is an octet structure manifesting between the 3 dimensions of consciousness. The ancient mystics went further. For 5 millennia ago, they proposed that there is an octet structure to our universe in the realms of consciousness, psyche, matter, and biology. An octet structure to our universe has also been proposed by such great scientific minds as Kepler, Newlands, Mendeleev, Tesla, Ramanujan, and Joel Mann, and they have inspired octet discoveries in the scientific realms of the periodic table of elements, the molecular structure, the subparticle realm of chromodynamics, superstring theory, and the 64 codons of DNA. In China 5,000 years ago, the mystics Fu Si and Nu Gua created the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, a perfect mirror for the 64 codons of DNA, the source for complex biological life. Amazingly, the symbol they use for the I Ching is also a photographic replica of the DNA spiral when viewed under an electron microscope. In the 17th century, the German mathematician Gottfried Leibniz, co-founder of calculus with Isaac Newton, was inspired by the binary structure of the I Ching to create the mathematical basis for computer science, 5,000 years after the I Ching was created. We also know that the ancient Greek Pythagoras was enchanted by the harmony of the spheres, by the orbits of our solar system, and his thoughts are mirrored by the modern Russian astronomer Molchanov, who has proposed that our solar system is a quantum-tuned resonant structure, with Jupiter as the conductor of the celestial symphonies. John Martineau, in his intriguing book, A Little Book of Coincidence, also describes the elaborate and beautiful geometric orbits of the planets, so stunning that he can parody the possibility that they were created simply by chance by using the word coincidence in the title of his book. Pythagoras is now associated with the ancient concept of pi, the intriguing transcendental number we use in geometry. In ancient times, however, the source of the number pi was defined as the law of octaves, or the law of 3 and 7, a law which states that 3 primal powers will move from a base position through 7 steps to create octets of creation. In modern terms, we could describe this pi concept as the input formula for the cosmic fractal. We use the symbol for the Greek letter P to denote pi. The Indian Om symbol in its lower dimensions can also be visualized as pi. The ancient Chinese Bagua also demonstrates the pi octet nature. Michael Hayes elegantly portrays the pi concept as a triple creation codon or key for the universe, with 3 overlapping octaves of 22 notes divided by 7 transcendental steps within an octave, creating the 22/7 pi formula used in basic geometry, and, on a deeper level, the exact transcendental pi number of 3.1415, and so on. Pi was depicted in ancient Egypt as the flower of life, the interlocking spheres of cosmic sound. From the flower of life arose the creation chains of the fruit of life, Metatron's cube and the 5 platonic solids, to form the complex templates for matter and biology. Perhaps we could also suggest that the area of a circle within a radius of 3 units can only be defined as 9 pi, so perhaps every circle is not just a circle, but also a transcendental wormhole into the surrounding void. The appearance of the flower of life image with its network of pi circles expresses this mystical concept. So perhaps our entire physical universe really is, simply, a stream of hookah pipe smoke blown from a character in Alice in Wonderland. The mystics, in the form of India's Kashmir Shaivism, have also proposed their own theory of everything, a matrix of 36 powers or tattvas of awareness and consciousness, which create all the aspects of the Om creation model, or genie's bottle model, of consciousness. Quantar101 has expanded this creation model to 43 powers to create a modern version of this ancient formula. We can now summarize the 2 primal creation models for our universe, the 4-block model of matter and the genie's bottle model of consciousness. Firstly, we can suggest that if the mystic's creation model is correct, then we at last have the input formula for the cosmic fractal, the law of 3 and 7, a formula which is the source for the transcendental number, pi. We also now have the reason for the octet structures of matter and biology, such as the 64 codons of DNA, the atomic structure, the periodic table of elements, and the subparticle realms of chromodynamics. We also have the nature and values for the mysterious realms of dark matter and dark energy. We have the source for the Fibonacci structure for our solar system, a solar system now revealed to be a power turbine of matter consciousness. We have the source for the octet structures of the human psyche and Western music, and we can at last describe the journeys of awakening from the reflected light of the ego sense to the creating light of eternal awareness. We have the theory of everything, a construct of 43 powers of consciousness and awareness, which create the appearance of our universe, powers described by the ancient creation models of Indian mysticism. Finally, We can suggest now that Western science is making a colossal cosmic error when it proposes its simple 4-block creation model for our universe. For from the mystic's viewpoint, if we simply focus upon the physical appearance of the universe and forget the nature of the perceiving consciousness, then we will become entombed within a flat earth perception of our universe. We will be left struggling with the greatest enigmas of our age. What is consciousness? Does consciousness even exist, or is it simply a cosmic hallucination created by complex chemistry? What is more real, the physical universe or the nature of the perceiving mind? And if we deny the existence of consciousness, if we decide it is just too hard and focus simply upon the study of chemistry, then perhaps we will become deaf to the wisdom of the ancient and modern mystics. We will then be left trapped within a nonsensical riddle straight from a Mad Hatter's tea party. If the background fields of the universe are space-time gravity and primal matter, then how does a bucket of cosmic mud create and sustain a complex universe of consciousness? How did it create us? Again, we return to the universe challenge. In response to these two creation models, Quantar101 proposes a $10,000 universe challenge. To collect the prize, just be the first person to describe a plausible creation theory, which is not simply a variation of one of the two creation models presented here. Or through simple logic, prove to the creator of the Quantar101 website that the matter creation model fits the facts for our universe better than the consciousness model. Submissions can be sent to info@quantar.co. Further, the mystics have not only mapped the causal forces for our universe, but they have also explored the structure of the human psyche. So in the genie's bottle model, we can now zoom into the reflected light of the cosmos to reveal the image of the personal psyche. If we look at this image, we can see that the body's psyche is similar to a magic tapestry of consciousness, woven from 7 psychic centers, which form vibrational octaves to create the journeys of personal psyche. These journeys appear because the human body forms as a miniature genie's bottle, which we enter within our mother's womb. We enter this bottle through the fontanelle. The opening at the crown of the head is a plume of pure consciousness, before we descend the spine until we reach wisdom heart, where we dwell, awaiting our birth. At birth we find ourselves cast in a great arc of psychic destiny, falling through the front of the heart in a descent to the feet, where we draw upon ourselves a shroud of forgetfulness, the dreaming nature of the personal self. This act creates an individual journey, the ascent through the psychic centers suspended upon the spine, until we eventually return to our remembrance at wisdom heart. In this way there is a chronology written upon the body, so that during early childhood we psychically dwell at the feet, ankles and calves. By the age of 6 we have psychically reached the knees. By 10 or 12 we have reached the pelvis and puberty. We must then ascend through the adult aspects of feeling upon the lower abdomen, mind at the belly, and ego structure at the liver to return to wisdom heart. In this way we can see that the holy grail of our myths is simply the spinal column of consciousness radiating its clear perception. Our very nature then has been the grail that we have mythically sought, and we have been travelling with the grail strapped to our backs in a peculiar state of existential forgetfulness. The clear vertical column of consciousness creates the possibility for the mystical awakening to the state of diamond mind, the enlightenment, with the center of awareness moving from the reflected light of ego sense to the witnessing dimension of the eternal. This is the union with the mirror or diamond nature of the genie's bottle itself, an awakening which is the implicit destiny for all human existence. The mystics have also created their own theory of everything in the form of the 36 tattvas of Kashmir Shaivism, the powers of awareness and consciousness which create the appearance of the genie's bottle of consciousness. We can expand these tattvas or powers to create the 43 powers described within the following modern version of this mystical theory of everything. This mystic's model of the theory of everything requires 12 powers of the eternal, 31 powers of consciousness, the law of 3 and 7, the 4 primary riddles of appearance, and the primal chains of consciousness, to create a play of identity within a vast cosmic theatre of eternal awareness. In this creation model, the dimension of deep sleep contains 15 powers. They are the primal duality and the trinity, ego sense, the 2 powers which form the projecting film and the impressions upon it, the 5 powers which form the reflecting screen, the power of universal mind, which is the self-knowing aspect of the universe, and finally, the space-time gravitational vault of ether. Below deep sleep dimension lie the 2 dimensions of dream and waking, woven from a further 16 powers of consciousness. They are firstly, creation mind, which takes the subtle impressions and creates a universal reality, and secondly, personal mind, which identifies with a particular stream of thought feeling and says, "This is myself." There are also the 5 powers of action, breathing, sexuality, voicing, digestion, and movement. There are also the 5 powers of sense, touching, tasting, seeing, hearing, and smelling. And finally, the last 4 of the 5 powers of manifestation, which are collectively described as ether, air, fire, water, and earth. In this model, the primal trinity garbs the individual self in 5 etheric robes. They are the robe of deep sleep, the 2 robes of universal and creation minds, and the 2 outer robes of the physical body and the personal life force, robes which send the individual self out on its journey of destiny. These 3 dimensions and 31 powers can be described as a genie's bottle of consciousness, but when the powers are absorbed in union, they simply form as a pure mirror, a mirror reflecting the light of a 4th dimension, the eternal. In this state of balance, the eternal is simply aware of the eternal, and all the dreams of consciousness have evaporated, like mists before the morning sun. This eternal nature in turn is woven from a further 12 powers, for each eternal sun, with its intrinsic 3 dimensions of consciousness, is simply a single droplet in a vast ocean of illusion, woven from 5 eternal powers, and beyond lies a 6th, the primordial seed of illusion itself, a seed which is known on the Himalayan plateau as the goddess Maya. Above these powers dwell 5 blue powers, those of pure being, bliss, knowing, power, and unlimited form, the highest expressions of all the powers of the eternal. This blue dimension eventually fades to become a tiny blue pearl, before disappearing into an endless ocean of darkness, the ocean of the unmanifest, the unknowable, which is the last step in all the realms of creation and manifestation. We have now before us an extraordinary panorama of consciousness and the eternal, and if we grasp this vision, we can understand why the genie's bottle model, theory of everything, has 43 powers in its sacred formula, a formula based upon the creation powers or tattvas of the yogic philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism. So let us summarize the key points of this talk. During the last 40 minutes or so, we have crisscrossed the realms of matter and consciousness. We have discovered the 4 great riddles of cosmic appearance, the nature of the 2 primal creation models, the input formula for the cosmic fractal, which also creates the transcendental number pi. We have the reason for the octet structures of matter and biology. We have the nature and values for the mysterious realms of dark matter and dark energy. We have the source for the Fibonacci structure for our solar system. We have the source for the octet structures of the human psyche and Western music. We can at last describe the journeys of awakening from ego sense to the eternal awareness. And we have the theory of everything, a construct of 43 powers of consciousness and awareness. We hope you have enjoyed this journey through the universe and the psyche.